Hi, I'm Dallas. I'm with Air Hydro Power's marketing team, and I'm here with Gil Lahardo of Bimba, a company of IMI Precision, and he's here to talk to us about what it is that Bimba does and what it is that he does. So, Gil, what are some of your responsibilities over there at Bimba?
Hi, Dallas. So, my role with Bimba, which is, as you mentioned, an IMI Precision company, is product sales manager slash specialist for our electric products. We have an entire portfolio of electric actuators that we market and sell, design, market, and sell, actually. And my responsibility is to manage those products and to be the sales specialist or expert in that area.
So, so you said your specialty then is the electric actuators.
That's
So,
correct.
why might someone choose an electric actuator over, say, like a pneumatic or a hydraulic actuator?
Well, that's a good question. So, the reasons for choosing an electric actuator are many. But what the legacy motion control system has always been air actuators, air cylinders. And they are still a wonderful tool to use, and they are ideal when going from point A to point B repeatedly without any change any change or flexibility. So what makes electric actuators unique is that electric actuators are able to be controlled very precisely. And as such, you can use an electric actuator to provide essentially infinite positioning, whereas with an air actuator, you're going to go from one extreme to another. That's extend all the way out till you hit the dead stop and then retract all the way in, which is great for very, very many applications. But as I mentioned, if you require flexibility in your machine or your work cell, such as when you have multiple size products, different types of products, then an electric actuator can give you a great versatility. Not only can you control position very, very well, you can also control acceleration, deceleration, velocity, and do this all with very, very extreme precision and deterministic timing and wonderful repeatability. So if a customer and his machine is looking for the advantages that I discussed, then an electric actuator may be the right solution, especially when a customer is looking to gain an advantage over the competition that might be using a legacy air cylinder in his tool.
So, the big advantage with an electric actuator is the precision. Could you give us some specific examples about what maybe some applications for this might be?
Yes, absolutely. So one application that is often used is pick and place. And pick and place applications are used in so many different industries. So I would say that's the kind of the most common application, regardless of the industry that you will find that in. And the thing about pick and place is that you're looking to pick something very repeatable and reliable, and you want to make sure that it's dead on, essentially, when you're doing some picking and placing, especially when the parts that you're picking are such that there are different sizes involved, different positioning, so that you can be flexible with those. Another example of where the exact precision is needed might be in an assembly application, like an electric assembly. In an assembly application, let's call it a PC board or some type of tooling, you want to make sure that the actuator is repeatedly hitting various positions on the its travel overall, so that you can make certain that the components that might be being assembled in that situation are being hit each and every time, repeatedly, day in and day out. Many of these applications are used in areas where you have 24/7 assembly going on, and in that case, you want to make sure that it's not going to stray from over time, and something that's going to be reliable. So pick and place, assembly, and many different other types of positioning applications, inspection applications, welding applications where the weld has to be very precise or the riveting has to be very precise. These types of repeatable, multiple position type of applications are where an electric actuator really comes in handy.
Gil, whenever I actually saw you at the trade show we had not too long ago, and I remember one of the highlights of what you brought was I think you called it a dual actuator or dual axis actuator. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we Bimba bring to the table as far as electric actuator technology is something that is very unique. No other competitor has such a tool, and that's our dual axis electric actuator with a single belt. We've branded it as our IntelliAxis, and what makes it unique is that it is a dual axis X-Z-axis actuator that only uses one belt throughout its travel. That's both in the X and the Z axis. So if you can imagine for a moment the serpentine belt in your automobile, you can get a better image as to how this serpentine belt works. Now, the advantage of this type of configuration is that you have everything in one plane, a dual axis plane. You can hit any position within that plane. In addition, you have smooth, quiet self-alignment with the type of specialized belt that we use, which is an arc belt configuration. Arc belt configuration, again, is something unique for Bimba. And when you control this belt, you can get to very high speeds in excess of 300 inches per second. So this belt is also unique in that there is no motor in the Z-axis. In most cases, when you have a dual-axis electric actuator, typically you'll have one axis riding on top of the other. In this case, that is not the situation. Instead, we use this, as I mentioned, a unique dual-axis single-belt configuration. And in this case, we have two motors, but both motors are in the X-axis. In that case, you have no motor in the Z-axis. The advantage of that is that you have no motor in the Z-axis, which makes for a lighter weight Z-axis. If you have a lighter weight Z-axis, in theory, you should be able to go faster with that actuator in the Z direction. In addition, because you don't have a motor in the Z-axis, you don't have to worry about what could be very costly flex cables. When you're moving an actuator in excess of 300 inches per second, you get a lot of bending, flexing, and that could be detrimental to a electric cable. Because of our configuration with both motors in the X-axis, you don't have to worry about that. And in addition, one of the things I like the most is that when you are using this IntelliAxis to make your Z move, which is the most difficult, most robust move, both motors that are in the X-axis couple together to the torque is additive. And if you have a 1 Newton meter motor and a 1 Newton meter motor, you end up with 2 Newton meters of torque in the Z direction. So all of these advantages together give you a really great solution for a dual axis application.
And it's really a shame because the IntelliAxis is something that you almost have to see in person to really kind of understand what's going on. You did a fantastic job of explaining it. However, there's also a video on our website at airhydropower.com that you can find on this IntelliAxis where Gil kind of gives you an overview and you can see it actually in motion. But Gil, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all for tuning in. For more information on Bimba's products and all the other products that Air Hydro Power has to offer, you can call 502-451-1000, or you can visit our website at airhydropower.com.